Welcome back to my kitchen for another tasty Tuesday. Summer in the Pacific Northwest means so many delicious flavors. And one of those unique things we get in the Pacific Northwest is geoduck. Do you know it? It's very unusual to a lot of people in the world. It's spelled G-E-O, duck. It's not geoduck. It's pronounced geoduck, and it is a giant clam that you can only get at really low tide. They live way out beyond the regular tide line. So at really low tide around here, people go harvest geoduck. It's harvested recreationally and commercially from British Columbia to Northern California. That's the only place in the world that it grows. We had the chance to go out with some friends and harvest some geoduck at a super -4 low tide, and we've eaten a lot of it as sashimi. And now today I am making Geoduck chowder, and let me show you how we do it. Now you have to prep ahead a few ingredients, including your geoduck. Now I didn't have to clean the geoduck, my friend Jeff did it, and he also minced 2 cups of the geoduck for me. That's what's here on top. And then from some of the other meat that we brought home that day, the meat we were using for sashimi, I had a little left over, and I did a rough chop of that, which will add a really nice texture to the chowder. The minced will almost disappear into the chowder, and the rough chop will give you some chewiness. You can do this recipe with clams. Of course you can. The geoduck is sweeter than most clams you would use for chowder. It is actually the most tender clam I have ever encountered. It is like butter. It's just so tender, cuts really easily, has a lovely sweet sea flavor that is so good. So let's do geoduck chowder. I'm making it for some company tomorrow. I am making a recipe that should serve 8. I'll bet you it's going to end up serving more, and I could put some in the freezer. With any soups or stews or chowders, I always try to make it at least 1 day in advance. It just helps the flavor so much the next day. I'm going to use this giant stock pot that I have. It may be bigger than I need, but the other one I have I think will be too small. So we are going to start. I've already cooked 8 Yukon Gold potatoes. They're not completely cooked all the way through, but I chopped them and cooked them, and they're going into the pot. One of the unique things you do in this recipe is I have 3 large leeks. I chopped them. I cleaned them really well because you want to get all the dirt and grit out of them. I spun them in my salad spinner, and then I cooked them for about 10 minutes, just kind of boiled them almost in 1 cup of heavy whipping cream. And oh my gosh, my entire kitchen smelled so good. Those with the cream and leeks go into our pot. Now let's put our 2 cups of minced geoduck and 1 cup of more of a rough cut geoduck into our pot. Now, if you've never seen a geoduck, I'm going to show you a picture here. They're kind of crazy looking. Freaks some people out. I know what it looks like. I know. Again, don't fear the look of this crazy creature. It's so tasty. So I also cooked 6 pieces of bacon. I chopped it first, cooked it nice and crispy. That's going in, along with 1 tablespoon of bacon grease. Next, I have 1 whole shallot, which worked out to be about a 1/2 cup. That goes in. The thing about the sweetness of the geoduck, you don't want to use bitter onions. So both shallot and leek are a sweet flavored onion, and so that is a really good combination with the geoduck. I also have some chopped chives and chopped parsley from my garden, and maybe 1 of each of those. Now, We are going to add 5 more cups of heavy cream. We are going to add 2 cups. These are 2 8-ounce jars of clam juice, so it's about 2 cups. That goes in. And the other one. We are going to add some salt. Some fresh ground pepper. Sometimes when I'm making regular clam chowder, I will put some red chili flakes in, but I don't want to do this in this recipe because, again, you want that sweetness to come through of the clams. Okay, now here I have chicken broth. You could use vegetable broth. You could also use some white wine or water, but I wanted to eyeball this and see. Let's see, I want to show it to you. I don't know if I can. I wanted to see how thick it was. And I think what I'm going to do is just add 1 cup of chicken broth. Then I'm going to put it on the stove. We do not want to bring this to a boil. You want to just get it on a nice simmer. That's one of the reasons you cook your potatoes ahead of time. There's a lot of cream in here, so you do not want to bring it to a boil. I'm going to simmer it and keep my eye on it, probably 30 to 40 minutes. I will decide then if it needs any more liquid. So let's see what happens. Here we go. Okay, our chowder has been on the stovetop for about 45 minutes. And I kept it really low, but for the last 10 minutes, I turned the heat up a little bit and I stood right next to it because I wanted it to get a little bit more boil so it would reduce. It tastes really good, but I'm going to use my immersion blender now very carefully because I don't want it to go all over the place, and break up some of those potatoes and leeks to make it a little bit thicker. That will thicken it up a little bit. I'm going to let it come down, not quite to room temperature, but cool down significantly. And then I'm going to put it in a bowl and show you what it looks like. We're not eating this till tomorrow, but I definitely am going to have a taste. Here is our Geoduck Chowder. You would not believe how great it smells. That immersion blender did help thicken it up a little bit, but as you can see, we still have lots of thick, yummy goodies in here. Oh my God. It is so flavorful, but sweet also. You could put crackers in here. I'm not going to. I'm actually going to serve it with some cornbread. It would be really good, just a little side salad. But look how pretty it is in that bright bowl. So, Geoduck Chowder. You can use this recipe with clams. I highly recommend giving it a try. The leeks really make a difference. That's our Tasty Tuesday. See you next time.